Base Power recently secured $1 billion in Series C funding, reaching a $4 billion valuation, with support from Andreessen, Valor Equity Partners, Lightspeed, Andreessen Horowitz, Ribbit, and CapitalG. Today, we speak with Justin Lopas, co-founder and COO of Base Power, to dive deeper into the company's vision, technology, and rapid expansion, and to understand how Base Power is redefining the future of grid infrastructure.
We're designing, manufacturing, installing, owning, and operating batteries. That takes a lot of capital, a lot of people, a lot of equipment. So that's primarily the reason for raising the capital, is to go deploy it into energy infrastructure and accelerate the growth of the business. Today we're based in Austin, Texas here, and we'll soon be expanding outside of Texas as we grow. And so really it's just a way for us to enable growth and sort of supercharge the ability for us to deploy, residential energy storage systems and other technologies onto the grid here in Texas and outside.
Base Power's rapid growth isn't driven by technology alone. It's equally shaped by the people behind it. The company's ability to design, build, and deploy complex energy infrastructure at scale comes from a team operating with a shared mission and a high-performance culture.
Our culture kind of has a few core tenets that I can describe to you that I think are important to us. Number one is really high ownership. That means that if there's a problem or a task that is your responsibility, you not only own the sort of narrow version of that problem or task, but you own everything surrounding it. So every problem associated with it, you have a high degree of ownership on. The other, I think, is important, very important to us, is mission alignment. Right? People don't come into work every day just because it's a job, but because they're very passionate about solving the problems on the grid and enabling energy abundance for all humans. And fixing the grid is kind of our mission. And so, I think that really drives a lot of people to work harder, to work smarter, and to be really sort of all charging in the same direction, as opposed to what we oftentimes see in larger organizations where you have sort of, individual political factions, so to speak. We don't have any of that here. We're very focused on the mission.
As Base Power continues to scale its operations and expand into new markets, the role of its internal culture becomes increasingly central to sustaining innovation and long-term focus.
As a leader of the company, myself and the others on the leadership team are very focused on how do we not slow down? In fact, how do we accelerate? How do you minimize the amount of connections people have to have with each other in order to get something done? If there's a process or a sort of team organization or something that doesn't work, delete it, get rid of it, and move on. And just always ask why. Why do we need to do something? Why do we need to include a part on an assembly? Why do we need that additional person on the team? We try to keep the team as lean as possible. And I think if you continually ask why, you sort of think about things from a first principles perspective, you get a far more innovative company at scale than otherwise. If you look at companies like, say, a big traditional auto maker, of which I won't name one, but there's many, and say Tesla is a good example. Most people know Tesla. One is clearly out innovating the other, and it goes to show you can do that at scale. Tesla is a multi-100,000 person company now, and that can be done at scale with the right culture, and that's really what we're focused on building, is something along those lines.
With Base Power's platform rapidly evolving across storage, distributed resources, and grid-level operations, the next frontier becomes increasingly important. Where do these technologies create the greatest impact going forward?
We'll continue to develop what I would consider distributed, resources like the batteries that we deploy today, like solar in the future, or other generation resources, as well as ways to control loads in both homes and businesses in order to enable the utilization of the existing transmission and distribution infrastructure far more effectively. So if you look at sort of the average line in the distribution grid, what you'll find is that it is heavily underutilized most of the time, right? It's utilized 20, 30, 40, 50%, most of the year. And then 1 hour of the year, or a handful of days in the year, in the dead of winter or in the heat of summer, in particular here in Texas, that line is very stressed. And so to the extent that you can offset those peak loads by virtue of putting storage generation at the edge of the grid, you can now have more load on the grid, so to speak, without building more and more grid. And because building of the physical grid is very difficult, especially here in the US. And so we're here to utilize the existing infrastructure, the trillions of dollars of capital that's gone into the US grid over its history far more effectively than it's been used in the past.
These insights reveal how Base Power is positioning itself at the cutting edge of modern grid infrastructure, blending breakthrough technology, bold vision, and a mission-driven culture to help build the energy systems of tomorrow.